When news broke of Greg Gumbel's passing, an overwhelming wave of grief and admiration swept through the sports world. Greg wasn't just a pioneering broadcaster. He was a man who embodied the values of kindness, respect, and integrity. From his historic moments in front of the camera to his quiet acts of mentorship behind the scenes, Greg's legacy extends far beyond his professional achievements. Those who had the privilege of knowing him describe an individual who left a lasting impression on everyone he met. He wasn't just a coworker, one colleague shared. He was a mentor, a friend, and a guide who always found ways to make you feel valued. Greg Gumbel's approach to mentoring wasn't rooted in formality or obligation. It was a natural extension of his character. He believed in building people up, helping them find their strengths, and empowering them to thrive. One young journalist recalled her early days in the industry when Greg took the time to coach her on handling live broadcasts. "I was so nervous about making mistakes," she said. "But Greg told me perfection isn't the goal, connection is. If you focus on telling the story honestly, everything else will fall into place." That advice stayed with me my entire career. Greg's mentorship extended to everyone in his orbit, from interns to seasoned professionals. He didn't see roles or hierarchies, he saw potential and worked tirelessly to nurture it. Beyond his professional achievements, Greg was known for his quiet acts of kindness. He often went out of his way to uplift others, never seeking recognition for his efforts. During one NCAA March Madness broadcast, a young producer made a significant error in segment timing. It was a moment that could have derailed the entire show. Instead of reacting with frustration, Greg calmly adjusted on the fly, ensuring the broadcast remained seamless. After the show, he approached the producer with a smile and words of encouragement. "We all start somewhere. The key is to learn and keep moving forward." Stories like these are not anomalies, they are a consistent theme in the memories shared by Greg's colleagues and friends. His ability to inspire confidence and provide reassurance during high-pressure situations made him a beloved figure in the newsroom. Greg Gumbel will forever be remembered as the first African-American broadcaster to host the Super Bowl, a milestone that broke barriers and inspired countless others. Yet Greg never allowed his trailblazing achievements to define him. Instead, he used his platform to advocate for diversity and inclusion in the industry. He was a champion for underrepresented voices and consistently pushed for more equitable opportunities in sports media. Whether it was mentoring women in broadcasting or advocating for diverse storytelling, Greg's commitment to inclusivity left an indelible mark on the industry. He didn't just open doors, a colleague reflected. He held them open for others to walk through. Greg Gumbel's respect for others wasn't just an attribute, it was the cornerstone of his life and career. Whether interacting with high-profile athletes or engaging with behind-the-scenes staff, Greg treated everyone with the same level of dignity and kindness. His unwavering respect for people was evident in both his words and actions, making him a figure deeply admired by colleagues, friends, and fans alike. One of Greg's most remarkable traits was his ability to forge authentic connections with those around him. He wasn't just polite, he was genuinely interested in people. Whether it was learning about someone's favorite sports team or remembering a recent family milestone, Greg made everyone feel valued and seen. For those who worked with him, this attentiveness wasn't just appreciated, it was inspiring. Greg had this uncanny ability to recall the smallest details about your life, shared a colleague. It made you feel like you weren't just part of a team but part of a family. This wasn't an act for the camera or a strategy for networking. It was simply who Greg was. He believed in the power of human connection and made it a priority, even during the busiest moments of his career. Greg's respect for others extended to his role as a mentor. He didn't just teach people about the technical aspects of broadcasting, he taught them how to lead with integrity and compassion. One young producer recalled how Greg took the time to guide her through the complexities of live sports coverage. "He was patient, encouraging, and never made me feel inadequate," she said. Greg didn't just want you to succeed, he wanted you to believe in yourself. Greg's mentorship often went beyond professional advice. He was known for offering life lessons, helping those around him navigate challenges with grace and resilience. For Greg, mentorship wasn't about imparting knowledge, it was about uplifting others and fostering their growth. There are countless stories of Greg's quiet acts of kindness, moments that weren't meant to be publicized but remain etched in the memories of those he touched. During one particularly stressful broadcast, a camera operator struggled with personal issues that were affecting his focus. Greg noticed, and instead of ignoring it or addressing it publicly, he pulled the operator aside during a break. He listened to me without judgment and offered advice that helped me more than he'll ever know, the operator later shared. This kind of empathy wasn't an exception for Greg, it was a daily practice. He understood the importance of creating a supportive environment, especially in the high-pressure world of sports broadcasting. Greg's ability to treat everyone with respect extended to the athletes he covered. He never sensationalized stories or sought to provoke controversy. Instead, he approached every interview with a sense of fairness and curiosity, allowing the athletes to share their narratives in their own words. This approach earned him the trust of countless sports figures over the years. Greg had a way of making you feel comfortable. Even in the most high-stakes interviews, shared a former NBA player. He wasn't just a broadcaster, he was a storyteller who cared about getting it right. His respect for athletes wasn't just about professionalism, it was about understanding the humanity behind the headlines. Greg believed in highlighting the hard work, dedication, and sacrifices that often went unnoticed in the world of sports. Greg's respect for others wasn't just a trait, it was a legacy. It set a standard in an industry that can sometimes prioritize ratings over relationships. He showed us that you could be successful without sacrificing kindness, said a colleague. Greg proved that respect and humility aren't weaknesses, they're strengths. This legacy continues to inspire those who had the privilege of working with him. Many of his mentees now carry forward his lessons, striving to emulate the same level of respect and integrity that Greg exemplified. Despite his monumental achievements, Greg remained deeply humble. He didn't seek the spotlight, even though it often found him. Instead, he used his platform to uplift others and shine a light on the people and stories that mattered most. His humility extended to his interactions with fans, who often approached him with admiration and gratitude. Greg never took these moments for granted. He treated every fan like they were the only person in the room, one admirer recalled. It didn't matter if you were a sports legend or a regular viewer, Greg made you feel important. As we reflect on Greg Gumbel's life, it's clear that his legacy is about much more than his groundbreaking career or his trailblazing achievements. It's about the way he made people feel, the respect he showed to everyone he encountered, and the kindness that defined his every interaction. Greg wasn't just a sports broadcaster, he was a mentor, a friend, and a gentleman who left an indelible mark on the world. His respect for others wasn't just a characteristic, it was the foundation of a life well lived. In the words of one colleague, Greg taught us that greatness isn't just about what you achieve, it's about how you treat people along the way. As the sports world mourns his passing, we are reminded of the profound impact one person can have simply by leading with respect, humility, and heart. Greg Gumbel's legacy will continue to inspire for generations to come. One cameraman recalled a moment when Greg noticed he was struggling with a personal issue. During a break in the broadcast, Greg pulled him aside to talk. He listened without judgment and offered advice that helped me through one of the toughest times in my life, the cameraman shared. He didn't have to care, but he did. That was Greg. Despite his many accolades, Greg remained deeply humble. He often deflected praise, choosing instead to highlight the contributions of his colleagues and collaborators. This humility endeared him to everyone he met and solidified his reputation as a true gentleman of the industry. Greg's gratitude extended to his audience too. He often spoke about the privilege of connecting with viewers and sharing the stories that mattered most to them. Sports bring people together, Greg once said. If I can be a small part of that connection, then I've done my job. Even in his absence, Greg's influence continues to ripple through the industry. Those he mentored now find themselves passing on his lessons to the next generation. I often hear myself repeating Greg's words to my own team, one mentee shared. It's like he's still guiding us, reminding us to lead with heart and integrity. Greg's impact wasn't confined to the newsroom or the broadcast booth. It extended to every corner of his life, where he touched countless hearts with his warmth and generosity. As the sports world gathers to mourn Greg Gumbel's passing, the stories being shared paint a portrait of a man who was as extraordinary off-camera as he was on. His legacy is one of kindness, mentorship, and unwavering dedication to his craft. Greg wasn't just a sports broadcaster, he was a beacon of light in an often chaotic industry. His humility, grace, and compassion set him apart, and his lessons will continue to inspire for generations to come. In the words of one colleague, Greg didn't just report on greatness, he embodied it.